Hey, everybody, welcome. This is Dr. Levi with your show, The Dr. Levi Show. Lots to discuss today. Today is May 4th, 2016. Beautiful day here in Los Angeles, so I hope and believe that wherever you are right now, you're making it a great day. Remember, the day is what you make of it. I mean, live in that place of true gratitude and knowing that you matter, that your life matters, and that you have a lot to say and do. And guess what? The world is waiting for you. This is a really special show because Mother's Day is coming up, one of my favorite holidays. I truly love and adore my mother, Williana. Willie, as we sometimes call her. I just want to say, hey, Mom, we love you very much, my sister and I. So I know she's listening to the show, and she'll give me her critique about it as she does every week, trust me. But that's what mothers do. So this show is really a celebration of women, of the women that are in your life, your mothers, your grandmothers. And today we're actually really fortunate to have on our show today a modern, living day Wonder Woman, someone who really balances life with her family as well as her career, and then takes time to manage time, I should say, for herself. You got to think, for anybody today, it's tough to balance career and family. Imagine someone who's balancing that with her own life and all these other things that she has going on. So she's really amazing. So I'm going to introduce you to her very shortly. Now, before I do that, I want to say Mother's Day, for those of you who are listening who have lost your mothers, you have our most intense and deepest condolences because, in medicine, we always say that there's several great losses that we endure. The first, of course, is called the horrible of the horrible, and that's a child before a parent. The second, our parents, a mother or father. The third, of course, is a spouse, husband or wife who leaves us. The fourth is a brother or sister. And the fifth, believe it or not, is a pet. And the sixth is a grandparent. So, if you've gone through that loss, like, myself, I lost my dad many years ago. Not that many, less than 5 years ago. One thing about losing a parent, the pain of that is very visceral. Even now, when I think about my dad, I think about, what did I miss out? What did we not talk about? What did we not have closure about? But the great thing is, I think in death, there's always forgiveness. We have to forgive ourselves for what we did or didn't say, and then love the person as they were. Because the bottom line is, I think all of us try to simply do the best that we can do. Now, I also want to thank everyone for joining us on YouTube. YouTube right now, close to 16,000 subscribers, which is really phenomenal. Our Facebook, I think we're at like close to 3,000 or 4,000 almost. So it's moving right along. And our Twitter is like at, I think, close to 4,000 also. So over this past year, everything's really exploded. So I'm grateful that you appreciate the show. I'm really fortunate and happy to be of service to you. And I really want to, before I say anything else, I have to really let everyone know that, this show, the Dr. Levi Show, is a team effect. From having Janet Rodriguez, my manager, and really I'd say she's our scheduler. She takes care of all the small things and makes them not so important. She just takes care of those. And then our engineer, Jarvis, and of course the owner here, Tony Sweet. So I want to really thank our team, and of course Nicholas Scolari, who's also our IT guy, who's just a great friend and a great person. So with that said, I want to tell you about this great woman. Her name is Millie Alvarez. She's married to that awesome celebrity, Mr. Carlos Alvarez, who has the ladies swooning all the time. Great guy, handsome guy, intelligent, Emmy-nominated, just an amazing person. So we're fortunate today to have his wonderful other side, his companion, his love, his wife, the mother of his children. We're lucky to have his wife on. So Millie Alvarez, welcome to the show, young lady.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Happy to have you on. I want to hear about your life as a child. Where are you from?
I am a New Yorican.
Yes.
I was born in New York. I was born in the Boogie Down Bronx.
Yes.
I grew up in Brooklyn. And so I will always be a New Yorker.
Of course.
My parents are both Puerto Rican from the island.
Yes.
So that's what makes me a New Yorican.
Absolutely. You have how many brothers and sisters?
There are 6 of us. So I'm the middle child.
Okay.
So it's 3 boys and 3 girls. My mom was a single mom.
Yes.
And we grew up in the projects.
Now, what was it like growing up with a single parent? Were there a lot of challenges with that?
I think my brothers, I had 2 older brothers, they kind of took the realm and
Yes.
they enforced a lot of rules that I would have preferred not to. They kind of kept everybody in check.
Yes.
So
They really help your mom.
Oh, yeah, and she let them.
Yeah, of course.
So there was just an hierarchy there. So,
Right.
So if I wanted to go out, she'd say, ask your brother.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes.
and he had kind of like a set of rules that he demanded from the younger siblings.
Absolutely.
So we kind of followed those rules. Growing up, I didn't like them. And I'm sure there was a challenge for him having to do that as a young man also, because he was only 7 years older than me.
Wow, very much so. And what was it like growing up with your brothers and sisters? Was it a real fun, happy time being with them, or was there always challenges?
Well, you don't know you're poor when you're poor, right?
Oh, I know about that.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't that true?
That's true.
I mean, when you're growing up,
Yeah,
that's
you
the
don't
only
know.
life you know.
Exactly.
So you don't know whether it's a good or bad one.
Right.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right?
Yeah, you make the best of it. I agree with
Exactly.
that.
So it's not you don't think about the grass being green on the other side
don't.
until you actually see it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So when you're growing up, that's just the way life is.
That's true.
In hindsight, you look at it and you say, gosh, I was able to survive these different challenges in my life, but
Right.
you didn't know it was a challenge then.
True.
Right?
And I also think those challenges when we're young like that, they make us very, very strong and almost impervious to any type of hurt, because we've come from struggle.
Mm-hmm.
We've come from pain. We've come from single parenting. Therefore, we gain strength in knowing that, well, your mother did like my mother do it, so you know what? I can do it too. We can keep pushing forward.
Mm-hmm. Or you can choose that that's not what you want to do.
That's true.
And that's a choice.
That is a choice.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you one thing. We had a program, and they still have it. It's a program in New York that's called the Fresh Air Fund.
Yes.
And they have kids from inner cities go into the country. So they take us, a group, busloads of us, and they send us out to Pennsylvania, to country homes.
Yes.
And they're not rich people. They're
Right.
very humble people.
Right.
But it showed me, wow, this like you could go
There's
into a
something
building
different.
that doesn't
Yes.
smell like
Right.
urine.
Right.
Where's the graffiti?
Right. Nobody shooting up nearby. Nobody smoking a tope.
Exactly.
Yep.
So then you see that and you're like, wait a minute. So there is life out of here.
Right.
And that's when it embedded the seed.
Exactly.
And that's when I knew that's what I wanted.
Right.
And
When it's
that's what I was
something
going to
different.
have. Right.
Right.
That I didn't have to stay there.
Exactly.
And that's when I chose not to.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, from there, you went to school from there?
Yes, I went just all the way through high school.
Yes.
And then my brother, the same one I talked to you about,
Yes, the disciplinarian.
After he graduated college, he moved to San Francisco.
Okay.
And the first opportunity I had, I packed up my bags and I left to San
Did you really?
Francisco. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And
How
I
was that
lived
for your
there.
mom now when you left?
We had already relocated to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So my mom, when I left her, I was 18, and over there, when you're 18, it's like
It's time to go.
you gotta go.
Got it. which is a good thing.
But it's funny how people in this era, like when I talk to different people, they're like, "Oh yeah, my daughter still lives there." I'm like, "How old is she?" And they're like, 30. I'm like, 30.
Right.
Or a son.
Right.
Like, how old? He's 27. It's like grown
Right.
ass man.
Right.
You need to get that kid out of there. Right?
I agree.
So I just find it, for me, it's mind-boggling.
Right.
Because I've always taught my children, you got to go.
Yes,
I'm
you have to get
preparing
out.
you to leave.
Right.
That's
to get
what you
on with
gotta
your
do.
life.
Exactly.
Right.
You gotta
so
be
you're
prepared.
okay about cutting those apron strings.
Oh.
No issue there. Cut.
Except I'm having a problem with my son. Other than that, I'm good.
Right. So you move out here to California.
Yeah.
Now, how do you establish yourself here? What do you find that you enjoy doing, and what do you start doing for work?
I worked in the corporate world. I worked in offices. I did all kinds of stuff. I'd never had a problem getting a job
is good.
or to be able to switch that
Gears.
button. Yeah,
Yes.
I've never had a problem doing that. So I was able to survive, and I'm a survivor.
Right.
So to me, it was just a different kind of survival, right?
Right,
So
right.
it's like, well, this is easy.
Exactly. Isn't it interesting when you think about where we come from? Because I remember as a kid, living in a house, one house we lived in, I tell you, there were more rats in that place than I could count on all fingers and toes of everyone in this room. And I remember thinking one day when I was there that there has to be something better than this. I got to make it better for my mother, for my sisters. This has to change. And I think it's great when we look back and see where we're from. It gives us such strength of character to go on and to be really unstoppable when we choose a career and have a passion about it.
Oh, totally. And I think that after you've been through that, there really isn't any other way to go but the other way, right?
Exactly.
We had an apartment like that too, where you could hear at nighttime
Exactly.
the rats running around
exactly.
the
boards
the
on
boards
the
in your
ceiling.
bed. Yeah. And you'd be like, one time my mom
Absolutely.
put a boot on and there was a rat had babies inside her boot.
Ooh, that's rough. Oh,
We were traumatized.
yeah, that's just trauma. That is trauma. That's trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, rat stories are never good stories.
They're never good
They
stories.
really aren't.
Yeah, they are.
Now, what about Carlos? How did you meet him? Now, how did he propose to you?
Well, that's a really interesting story. I lived here in Los Angeles already, and I went on vacation to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And
Which I want to say this: I love Puerto Rico.
Do you?
I went there for my best friend's wedding. One of the most beautiful, stunning,
Yes.
friendliest people, most amazing cuisine, great
Oh,
food.
yeah.
I can tell. I love Puerto Rico. That's all I can say.
I'm glad.
Yes.
So I was on vacation. Actually, I was with a friend of mine, a male, and we were walking into a bar in
Yes.
Old San Juan, and he was walking out. He was leaving, and he told his brother, he says, "I'm going to go back in because I want to dance with that particular girl."
Right.
Mind you, he was already outside of the club.
Right.
And he turned around and he went back in. And I was standing at the bar having a drink with my friend. That's a guy. Now,
Right.
he doesn't know this is not my
Yeah,
boyfriend, right?
he doesn't know, right?
But it didn't matter to him, apparently.
Evidently.
Because, so I'm standing at the club and I can feel someone staring at me.
Right.
And I kind of look behind me and I saw this guy all the way at the other end of the bar staring at me.
Right.
I'm like, could it be me? Is he looking at me?
Right.
And so I kind of peek again, and he's still staring at me. And, and I turn around again, and I could feel him literally walking across the room.
Could you really?
And I said, he's going to ask me to dance. And he tapped me on the shoulder,
Yeah.
on the shoulder. And I was like, oh my God, it's him. I know it's him. And I turned around, and sure enough, it was
him?
And he
Yes.
was dressed the way you are today. He's
Yes.
got a white shirt on, a black pants on.
Right.
And he asked me to dance, and you couldn't really see his physique.
Right.
Until when he went to take me to dance, and I felt his shoulders and his muscles and
Right.
his thighs. I was like, ugh, I'm in trouble.
And so was he.
Yes, so is he. And after that, we went out, I think, one more time before I left. And he was a fling. My husband was a fling 23 years
now,
ago.
what were you thinking though when you saw him? Were you thinking, is that someone that I could marry? Or was it
No.
like, oh, this is just a quick hello and goodbye?
He wasn't my type at all. I'd never gone out with a black guy.
Right.
So that was really interesting,
Right.
was that he wasn't my type at all.
Right.
But I was on vacation. I was having a good time.
Right.
I was like, I ain't never going to see this guy again. I'm not even in the same country.
Right.
No one's going to know.
No,
Who's going to know?
so you went from
Well, now the world knows.
now the world knows exactly right. Exactly right. So you literally went from that encounter, you leave to go back to the States.
Right.
He's still in Puerto Rico.
Right.
Now,
I
how
didn't
did-
think
how
I
do you-
would. I never thought I was going to hear from him again. And when I got home, there were 2 messages from him because, mind you,
Really?
then you didn't have cell phones, right?
No, exactly.
And I had made a pit stop in New York because I was there for a couple of days.
Yes.
And when I went back to LA, I had 2 messages from him, and we kind of just did that
Talked
for a little
about.
while. And that was in December. February was my birthday, and I was having my own surprise party.
Yes.
I had sent out all the invitations.
Your own surprise party? Well, that's the way to
I had
do
sent
it.
out all the invitations. I had
Yes.
everything set up, and the surprise party was for me.
Right. That's a new one.
So I'd go to the clubs and people would be like, I had done it all myself.
Philly, please. Philly, please. Philly, please. Oh my gosh. So you gave yourself a surprise.
And he was my gift because I
Was
sent
he
him
really?
a plane ticket.
Did
Yes,
you
I
really?
did.
I cannot. There's nothing I can say.
Uh-huh.
So what happens when he gets there? He gets there for the party?
Well, I invited him to come spend the weekend to be my date for my party. So he knew what was going on.
Did he know it was a surprise party for you?
Right. I told him I had set the whole thing up and he was on board.
Evidently. Oh my goodness. So how was the party?
The party was amazing.
Was
You
it
know, It
really?
was a great party. He got to meet all of my friends. He didn't know anybody. He didn't speak
Fantastic.
any English.
Wow.
But it was a salsa party, so
Yes.
you know that's
You
the
have to
universal
dance.
language.
Yes, it
Exactly, all you gotta
is.
do is dance.
Right.
So, and that was it. He came, I think, another once or twice, and the last time he stayed.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what were you thinking the second time he came over? Were you thinking, this is somebody I could spend my life with? Or was it, this is someone I could have a long-term relationship with, have babies with, have kids? How did that, that's a big deal to go from that encounter, a party, more encounters, then I'm going to marry this person.
Well, remember, so I'm a little jaded because I've dated for many years. I've
Right.
had other relationships.
Right.
So I'm trying not to put myself out there.
Exactly.
Right. So
Right.
I'm trying to keep neutral to this because,
Exactly.
where I'm trying to stay away. But he was very interested. So
Very interesting.
and
Even though he's that far away, because he's in Puerto Rico
right.
still.
But remember, the Puerto Rican man is very assertive.
Yes.
And very declaring. So when
Got it.
they tell you, normally you can speak to a Puerto Rican man and he'll tell you what's going on in his mind. He
Right.
tells you what he wants, when he wants it, and how he wants it.
Right. Period.
Exactly.
There's no gray zone.
There's no gray zone. It's not like dating in LA where
Right.
where people are like, I'm like, you got a crush on me? I never knew. You never
Yeah,
told
yeah,
me.
yes,
You know,
nah.
you don't know.
Right.
There's like this huge gray area
Right.
there. Like, whereas a Puerto Rican guy will tell you, hey,
Exactly.
He's like, hey, what's up, mommy? That we're
Right.
gonna do this or not?
Right.
You know, and that's what I like. But that's
Exactly.
what I was.
It was
used
very
to.
direct.
Exactly.
Got it.
So he was the one who actually declared himself to me once, and he told me, he goes, I love you, and I want you to be the mother of my children.
Now, what was that like for you when you heard that, though?
I was thrilled. Of
Really?
course, every woman wants to hear that.
Right,
You
right.
know, you're in love with the guy, and you want him to be able to say that to you
Of course.
without you kind of forcing it out of them
Right,
these days.
right,
You know.
right. Exactly. You want it to be organic and natural.
Exactly,
I agree with you.
yeah.
How was the proposal? What was the proposal like?
Well, we were already living together at that point.
Yes.
But he didn't speak any English, remember? He
Right.
didn't even have a job when he came.
Right.
But he comes from a good family. He has a degree. He's
Yes.
very educated.
Yes.
And so the potential was there.
Yes, you
so
knew
he
that.
Went, oh, totally. He came here, he went into English Learning College, and he got a job right away. And he just kind of fudged it. He
Kept
just,
moving, just kept
yeah, he
moving.
just kept moving forward. He never said no, or that he was afraid, or that he had never hesitated at all.
Right.
And so when he finally got a permanent position, that was in September, he took me to a restaurant and he proposed.
Just like that. Mm-hmm. Now, did you know it was going to happen that day?
Oh,
Or
yeah. I
you,
know.
You knew.
I needed him to do that.
You are serious. Wow.
I needed to be official.
Really?
Yeah.
So, now, I'm curious about this because so often people say that, well, when you get married, things change.
Mm-hmm.
After you got married, did he still remain and your relationship still remain as intense and as cohesive? Because often people say after they marry, it gets to be a little bit dicey, not as lovey-dovey, not as great with respect to communication.
Well, my husband has never changed. He's always been the same person
That you
throughout.
know.
That I know, that
Right.
I've always known. Me, on the other hand, I can pick and choose, or I can pick at you to see what's wrong with you because that's what I'm used to,
Right, right.
Because of my history with other
course.
guys, I'm like, he can't be this good. There's got to be something wrong,
Right.
And I can poke and poke and poke and poke and say, "Are you looking at that girl?" Where he's not, and I say, "Do I need to do? Why am I looking at this? Because this is a history that I have with other men
people.
in the past."
Yes,
and
yes.
he had to pay for that,
Of course.
and he rode with it.
Right.
He rode with it. He was like, "You don't have to."
And why do you think he wrote? You think he wrote because he was just truly in love with you? And why do you think he continued to take that then?
Because he had already made a commitment
To you.
to me. Exactly. And he's a very respectable person, honorable person, which I wasn't used to.
Right.
Right? So this is a real stand-up guy.
Of course.
And I didn't want to believe it.
Right.
So I kind of wanted to twist it and turn it and try
distort it.
This exactly. And then it wasn't until after I finally realized that, you're going to mess this stuff up.
Right.
You know?
And when did you finally come to that realization that, he is a great man. He is an honorable man. I don't have to poke. I don't have to look. I don't have to look in his phone. I don't have to look through his messages. I know he is whom he says he is.
I still have doubt.
Really? Even now? Really?
Not even on his side of it. I just think that there's so many, outside forces that we endure on a day-to-day basis that might be who you are today. But I think that somebody there's just situations that I don't think any of us are perfect.
No, we're not.
And I'm not either.
None of us are.
Exactly. And so I don't, he might be like that today, but maybe something will happen tomorrow that'll change that.
Right. This is true.
That I might not have any control over.
This is true.
And so I just have to kind of roll with it.
Right. What are the challenges of being married to a celebrity like Carlos Alvarez? What are the challenges there? Because there has to be challenges. There must be.
Well, and there are in every relationship.
Right.
Alone.
Right.
Without that extra factor.
Right. He has the extra factor.
Right. He's got the
Right.
extra factor, and then there's many challenges. The biggest challenge, I think, is the other women that want to be part of his life also.
Right.
So and the challenge is he's always remained the same.
Right.
So it's all about how I react to that.
Yes.
Right? So
Right.
I can't control what she's talking
No, you
about
cannot.
with you.
No, you cannot.
Right? All I can do is control how I react to that.
Right.
If I find
and
out
then
about
you
it.
can either react or respond.
Right.
You
But
know.
I normally react, which
Okay.
is not a good thing.
Mhm.
It's a knee jerk reaction too. It's
Right.
like I'm that girl from Brooklyn comes all the way out.
Right.
And and that's not always a good thing.
That's not a good
no,
thing.
that's not a
Right.
good thing. So he keeps it
Grounded.
keeps it very grounded.
Right.
And when he's out and he's a celebrity, that's what he's doing at that time.
Right.
When we're home, he's just my husband.
Period.
That's right. He still does the plumbing, and he'll
takes
do all
care
the
of what you need him to
basics.
do.
He helps with the kids.
Right.
He's always been hands-on father.
Right.
He's not a celebrity at home at all.
Period.
That's right.
Now, what are the perks of being married to a celebrity?
There's lots of perks. I
Right.
mean, you go to the concerts, you
Right.
get VIP, you get to meet the
course.
artists, you go out to nice dinners,
Right.
you get people that, treat you differently, things like that.
What do you think are some of the biggest myths that people may have about being married to a celebrity? Because we're in a celebrity culture now, where everybody wants to be a celebrity, or wants to be associated with a celebrity, or wants to marry a celebrity. What are things that you think you could share with people to kind of wake them up and say, hey, you may get this, but you also get this?
Well, one of the biggest myths, I think, is that all celebrities are rich.
I agree.
That
is a big myth.
That's a huge myth.
Yes.
And so, that's something that they paint in their eyes.
Right.
That's not a reality.
Exactly.
We still have we pay bills. We have to
Of
pay
course.
college, and we have
course.
that's a huge. You're talking about
Absolutely.
we have expenses like everybody else
Absolutely.
does. So when somebody says to you, "Oh, can you help with this?" A family member, whatever.
Right.
That they assume that because he's a celebrity
Right.
that he has that.
Right.
Right? They don't take into account that he's got 3 kids
And a
paying for
wife.
college and a wife
Of
in
course.
college.
Of course.
And we have mortgages
Of
and we have
course.
everything else.
Of course.
You're a celebrity. Of course you can do that.
That's what they think.
Right. And that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
So
Do you ever find this with family, that family will sometimes think that they're entitled to what you have and what you do because they're family?
that's a real sensitive subject.
Very. And that's why I'm bringing it up, because I know how it affects my life. So, yeah, I want to hear your thoughts.
That's a very sensitive subject.
Right.
And my husband does not like to say no.
Yes, I know that feeling.
He does not like to say no. He doesn't like hurting people's feelings. I can ask him a question 5 different times and he will avoid it.
Yes.
Not to answer it,
Right.
because he knows that what he needs to answer is no.
Is no.
And I'll get frustrated and say, just tell me no already, so I don't
Right.
have to keep asking you.
Right.
Tell me already, and I can move on. I'm okay with it.
Yes.
Just tell me. He's like, but I would love to be able to do that for you, but I can't.
Right.
Right? So it's very difficult for
Very.
him to say no. So if somebody asks him from a family member, might ask him for something,
Right.
and he won't know how to say no to that person, where I might pick up that phone and say
no, not today.
That's not gonna. We really can't do that. You
Right.
need to find a way of saying no to that.
Right.
And that's sometimes I look like the bad person.
Yes, I know.
So there's always a good guy and a bad guy.
Absolutely, always.
So
But family, I always find too, with family, it's a very funny balance of them understanding, okay, yes, I work a lot, and yes, I may make money, but money I make is not your money.
right.
I make it. I work for it. I go
right.
through the stress of it. I think sometimes there's a projection that, if you make it and I need it, then I can ask you for it, and you're going to give it to me. And when you don't give it to them, people often get kind of, ticked off.
Of course, because they make that assumption.
Absolutely.
That you've got that money.
Absolutely.
Right.
And got it to give away to them.
Yes.
I think that's really interesting, isn't it?
It's called self-entitlement.
Exactly. Exactly. And you and I know about growing up in homes where there was no entitlement.
Exactly.
And
there was no
yes.
one to look
Oh,
towards.
no, it's
there was
none.
no uncle
No,
or
no.
brother or somebody
No
that
way.
was going to be able to
No
come
way.
through for you. So you did without. You
Absolutely.
had to figure it out.
Absolutely.
And that's I still do that with my children.
Right.
We make our children, well, you need to figure that out.
Right. How you going to do it?
How you going to do that?
When you say it again, it makes me, and I've mentioned this on the show before, something my dad would always say is that is, if I said, hey, Poppy, I want that. And you say, okay, I know you want it, but, that's okay. I said, well, no, but I want that. He said, that's fine. You can want it. He said, well, Levi, because you want it doesn't mean you need it. And he'd always say, secondly, if I give you everything, son, you'll appreciate nothing.
That's right.
So I've always even now at 35 plus, I take that with me, and I believe in that. You know, and if I ever have kids, and I hope I do, that will be a caveat that I will live and teach them.
And you value more something that you worked for.
Oh, absolutely.
Than
Then
something
it's really
that
yours.
was given to you.
Absolutely.
It's like giving somebody a gift and then they let it go
Put it aside.
bad, or
Absolutely.
they lost it,
Right.
or they didn't take care of it, or they crashed if it was a car.
This is true.
They didn't value it.
This is true.
Because they didn't have to bust their buns to get it.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
If they would have bust their buns to get it,
They would have treated it differently.
I
That's
agree
right.
with you. I agree. Well, tell me about motherhood now. How do you balance that? You have 3 kids. You have one that's in college at University of California in San Francisco, correct?
That's correct.
Then you have one in New York working in the stock exchange. And then you have one who's a football player here in high school.
In high school.
So now you got these 3 different levels of this demographic of the millennials. How do you deal with that? Because that's a job.
Well, it is a job, and I'm very proud of all of them. My oldest daughter graduated from Loyola Marymount, decided she wanted to live in New York, and she left.
Wow. Now, how did that make you feel? Do you feel like, wow, job well done, that she can do it, has that feeling to be independent like that?
Yeah, I've been preparing her for that all her life.
Right.
So even when she was a little girl and I worked at Goldman Sachs,
Right.
I'd have to leave the house at 6:30. And she had to take care of her little sister. So she had to brush her hair.
Yes.
And she had to make sure she brushed her teeth. And I had a list on the door of everything that she needed to do before she left,
Right.
including make the bed.
Absolutely.
And she was a little girl. She's like, Mommy, now in hindsight, she
Right.
tells me, Mommy, why did you make me do all those things? I wasn't an adult. And I was like, yeah, but I had to.
You had to, yes.
You had to
Exactly.
be, you're the only one that I could depend on to do that.
Absolutely.
My husband took them to school.
Right.
But to their hair, he would have put a hat on and it's like, they're off.
Right there. Right. But she loves you, Carlos. She loves you. So no hair duties.
No, he did not do hair.
Right,
He did
right.
everything else, but he would
But
not
no
do hair.
hair.
No.
So she's off to New York City.
Right.
Now your other child is in San Francisco.
And
so
she's studying abroad. She's in Rio de Janeiro right now.
fantastic.
Yeah, she's been there since January, and she would love to stay. She only has 1 more year of school.
really.
And she's going to be done. She's studying Latin American studies.
Fantastic.
And I think it's social media studies or something. She's double majoring.
No. Well, no. What about Carlos? How does he feel when you talk to him about, wow, we did this. Our children are making it. They're forging ahead to make their own lives. That's it's such an homage to yourself as a parent. That
To both
it's
of
happened.
us.
To both of you. I agree.
Yeah, and I think I think it has a lot to do with both of us, not
Yes.
just me. I would do things for my girls, and I'm like, okay, well, you need to ask Dad for this, but this is what they'll tell me, Mommy, I want to ask Daddy for this. Can you help me word it?
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So I'm not
Help
gonna
me word it.
exactly
Exactly.
because he's gonna ask her. He's
Right.
gonna tell them, why do you want that?
Exactly.
And then they have to respond.
Right.
And so when they ask, I want to have Facebook. And he's like, well, why do you want to have Facebook?
Right.
And she goes, because my friends have Facebook. He said, nope, that's not a good enough answer.
He's
Think
right.
about it again.
He's right.
Right? And he
He's
didn't
right.
let her, and she was driving herself nuts, figuring out, well, how do I answer
How do I answer?
that?
Right,
Right?
right.
And then she came to me, and I was like, well, I don't know, because I didn't know anything about Facebook either.
Right.
And eventually she sat down and talked to him, and she says, well, because, they have different groups in there, and if, my class, sometimes we talked about the events that are going to happen, it's a group is on Facebook.
True.
Then she convinced him.
Exactly.
But she had to think about what her answer was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's great parenting. Now, what about your son who's in high school? How's it dealing with a high school student?
Well, he's the light of my eyes. So
Fantastic.
he's like, he can't do anything wrong. And, whenever I talk about him, like my chest rises
Yes.
and I just kind of get a little aura about me.
Right.
That,
Exactly. That's fantastic.
He's a good kid, and he was always in the shadows because, women suck out the energy in any room. Right? So you grow up with
I
two
cannot answer
sisters.
that.
Yeah. So we got 2 girls, and they come home from school, and everything is about drama and clothes and boys and what's going on with the girls. And my son is in the background, and the youngest, and he kind of just goes to his room, comes out
Close the
whenever
door.
he wants some food, doesn't get involved with anything. You never hear anything from him. All of a sudden, these 2 girls are gone, and I'm trying to get him out of that room.
Right.
And he's like, he goes, but I don't want to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
I've never been the center of attention, and now I want to know, what are you doing in school? He's like, you never asked before.
Right, exactly. How did that change? Right. You didn't ask in 17 years. What up, Mom?
He's like, well, you never asked before. I was like, I had no time.
So he's looking at you like, preguntas? What?
It's like, what?
What?
All of a sudden, you have all this attention. I'm like, oh, you're an only child. He goes, but I don't want to be an only child.
Millie, stop it. Oh, my goodness. So
Yeah.
no questions. No questions.
No, he doesn't. Like he's very low key. Like I'll have to tell him, "Money, you need a new pair of shoes."
Right.
And still, even though he's 17 and he's big and strong,
Right.
and works out and a football player, like he still doesn't think about things like
At
that
all.
at all.
Wow.
I have to tell him, Michael, you need a new pair of jeans. Like he's not thinking about
At
that.
all.
He goes to work. He goes to school. He gets good grades. and
Wow, that's great.
I never see him do homework. I mean,
He gets it done.
He gets it done.
I think it's fantastic.
He's just a good kid all around, and he's going to be my next one to leave.
That's great. Now, what do you think is going to be like? What's your projection of what life is going to be like in your household in 3 years with an empty nest? What do you think it's going to be like for you and your? Because that'll be an adjustment.
Well,
You know,
no, it already
everybody
happened. Because remember, Michael was in the shadows anyway. So
Really?
once
So-
Maya left,
Right.
once my middle child left, and she's a middle child, so she demands all attention at all times.
Right,
So
right.
when she walks into the room, everybody's like, well, because Maya's the one that's doing
Okay.
everything, and she just, all the attention has
Attention.
to be towards her
Got
at
it.
all times. So when she left after my oldest had already left, the house was like
Different.
dead quiet.
Really?
Yeah, the whole
Wow.
other side of the house was empty rooms, and I went from room to room, closing doors.
Right.
And I started crying because I was like, oh my gosh, like this house was so quiet and it was
Right.
dead.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I should have had a fourth child maybe.
no.
Or yeah, like I thought it
Right.
actually
Did
crossed
you
my
really?
mind. I was like, because you're rushing so much in life when you have children.
Yes.
You're like going. They got to go to school. They got to
Yes.
get shopping. You got to do this. They got to go to
Yes.
sports. They have all these events, and you're running around and you're trying to work and you're trying to get it all done. Then one day it just goes boom, done.
Right.
And everything is like, wait a minute, what happened?
Right.
And then you have to kind of adjust to it.
It's a very different
Yeah.
life. What about for Carlos? Was it the same?
He even felt it when we would go away. So, like I would always take my children and get in the car and we'd all go to Vegas.
Right, go
for
together.
a weekend because
Right.
Carlos worked so much.
Right.
So he's like, and he'd hate it because when he'd come home, there was nobody there to greet him and the house was empty. He's like,
Right.
oh, Millie, he goes, it just seems so quiet
Right,
here,
right.
you know? So he had already kind of experienced
Right.
that where the kids were always with me. So
Right.
I had never experienced that before. And so the adjustment wasn't as hard for him. He's like, oh, have you spoken to the girls? What's going on?
Right.
And because they kind of touch base with
Of
me
course.
more.
Of course.
That what's going on? He goes, well, he'll call the girls and leave them a message and they'll
Right.
call him, So, he misses them too. It's
He
just,
has to.
Yeah, the girls are the light of his eyes.
Oh, well, of course, those
Yeah.
are his daughters. No, now when you see how your life is unfolding now, do you think when your son leaves that you travel more? Do you think you do more things in business? I mean, 'cause you have your successful real estate business. I mean, what's on the horizon for you? Because that next chapter will be opening soon.
Yeah, and I've given it a lot of thought. So I think I will. I think I'm going to kind of step it up as far as real estate.
Yes.
And I'm actually in the process of getting my broker's license. I don't know if I want to open up my own office.
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to go work somewhere else, but I can see it unfolding, going in that direction.
Right.
It's a very lucrative business. I do very well in that business,
Right.
and it's been very good to us and my family, where I was able to work and still
course.
be able to go to all of my children's games and go
Exactly.
to all the events.
Right.
When my children were little, I'd put them all in the car and go to show somebody a house.
Right.
And they'd all come with me if they needed to.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
it's good
it's been
that they
very
had
good.
that exposure too of saying mommy is mommy, but mommy is also a working mommy.
Oh yeah, and they used to get referral fees.
Oh, really?
If they gave my business card to a teacher and the teacher called me, they got a referral
Did they
fee.
really?
For every escrow I called, they got $50.
Did they really?
They did.
You are amazing. Oh my goodness.
Because it took away time from them too.
Absolutely.
So they knew, and they're like, Mommy, when is the next escrow closing?
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, you have to wait till the fat girl sings. And she's like, singing? What does that mean? I'm like, it means she's humming. She's humming. She's not singing yet. She's just
not
humming.
singing. Too much, Millie.
She's humming, honey. She's going to sing soon.
But the note has not been hit yet.
Don't spend that money yet.
too much.
Yeah.
So what about for women that are listening right now? What would you say is some advice to young working single moms out there who may be thinking, wow, how am I going to make it happen? What are the things that you could tell them, remind them to do to really put in perspective that they can make it?
I think that one of the biggest, for me personally, that myth, like, I need to sacrifice everything for my children. And I don't
feel that. You don't buy into that.
I don't buy into that at all.
Right.
I really believe that a happy wife is a happy life for everybody.
Exactly.
Including my children.
Absolutely.
And I need to go out once a week. I want to go out. I like to party. I like to dance.
Absolutely.
And I like having friends.
Right.
I like entertaining.
Of course.
And I think that it's very important for me to be happy
in
order to make you happy.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I just, and I don't think that I need to sacrifice everything and not go out and do all that. Get a babysitter.
Absolutely.
Get a
Absolutely.
babysitter, have a life, go to the gym,
Right.
have you time.
Absolutely.
And because I feel that when you don't, you kind of resent everything around you, including your children.
Absolutely.
So I really think that you really need to think about me first.
That's a very powerful message because I think so often societally women are told that they can only do so much, and if they have kids and they have to stay home with them, and then if they don't stay home, if they work, then you're a working mother, then you're abandoning your kids.
Right.
So where's the happy median? I think women in general, and this show is about empowering women to really be the goddesses that they are because they should be respected, they should be loved, and more importantly, they should have lives that they want to live.
Right.
And I think it's important that we all know that a man doesn't complete a woman. A man can compliment a woman, but women don't need us. If anything, we need women, but they don't need us. So I think it's great that you really found this happy median in your life where things really work in balance. With a great husband, great kids, great business, and then your great life. You, Millie Alvarez, just taking care of you. It's a big job, too.
No, it is. And I didn't learn that by myself. My husband kind of taught me things like that. So he goes, well, we'd have an argument about something.
Right.
And I drill it, and I want to be right. I want to be right, and then, but being married is not about being right.
No.
It's about agreeing that you feel differently about that.
Absolutely.
And my husband taught me that. He
Right.
says, just because that's what you think and that's you feel, you can't force that on me. That's not the way I feel.
Exactly right.
He goes, so don't tell me what I need to feel, and I won't tell you how to feel.
Exactly right.
And I was like, oh, I never thought about it.
Powerful statement.
Right?
It really is. It really is. I love the way you said that because it made me think of someone I went out with for a long time. She told me one day, she said, Levi, we're having the same kind of intense. And I said, we have to learn to disagree agreeably.
Right.
I said, I respect what you're saying. But I said, I'm never going to agree.
Right.
And she said, well, why can't you? This is the way it should be. I said, that's the way it should be for you,
Right.
not for me. So what Mr. Alvarez said, I totally agree with.
Oh yeah, and for him to say, don't try to change me. This is who I am. I accept you the way you are.
Just accept me.
Exactly,
Right.
and accept me the way I am, and the way I think and the way I feel doesn't necessarily agree with what the way you think and you feel. Just respect that about me, but not me. I want to change you. I'm like, no, I'm right. All right, and it's you have to let it go. And
do.
You got to pick your battles, and that wasn't one that was even worth fighting.
Absolutely,
right?
Even starting. I agree with you.
Right?
I agree.
It's like I don't want to, I don't want to fight those battles.
No.
That's not even important. So.
I totally agree. Now tell me this: what about Puerto Rico? When was the last time you were back there?
For my daughters, I think sweet 15. So it's been a good 5 years since
Really?
we've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that island. Just absolutely stunning.
Me too.
And the energy there, I tell you, the energy there to me is like, especially Old San Juan, is like the energy of like Sedona. Very peaceful, very embracing, very just the people there, just so vibrant and loving life, and nothing's on the schedule. It's kind of like easy breezy. You take care of things, but it's not like the rush of LA. LA is a different kind of beast.
Oh yeah, and everybody goes to the beach and every Sunday
Right.
and Saturday.
Right.
So even if you're very poor, it doesn't cost much to
Doesn't
fill a
cost-
fridge with beer and soda and take the
doesn't.
kids to the beach.
Right. Bring
and
your
that's
own
what they do.
sandwiches. Absolutely.
Right, exactly. And we did that for a long time too.
Oh, of course.
When my kids were little, I'd pack up sandwiches and we go to Disneyland and go outside and eat lunch in the car.
Exactly. Together as a
Right.
family. When you look at your family, what do you think is the greatest gift that you've given to them as a mother, as a working mother, as a great wife? What do you think you've given to your children?
That's a big question. I think I've given them the confidence of never limiting themselves
Yes.
on what they can do or what they can accomplish.
Yes.
So, and I think that that's all I've ever wanted to give them was the ability to not be afraid of anything.
Right.
It's like, just go out there and do it. My daughter, even my oldest daughter, tells me, she goes, Mom, I was so scared to go travel abroad to Europe. She goes, but I did it because I knew that I had to do it and I was going to regret it if I didn't.
Absolutely.
And she goes, when I moved to New York, she goes, I was scared to do that. Right. She goes, and if I had stayed in my comfort zone, I never would have left.
It's true.
But she does. She packs up her stuff
and
she leaves. Yeah.
Now, you gave that to them. Who gave that to you?
My mom and my mom in growing up. I don't think I was ever told that I couldn't do something.
Right.
So I thought, and my older brother, the disciplinary, taught me a very important lesson was, you can do there's nothing you can't do. I mean, you can talk to anybody.
Right.
I can go back to New York and I'm one of them.
Absolutely.
And I can come back here and go work at Goldman Sachs and I'm one of them.
Right.
Right. And so I can switch it.
Yes.
And that's what I was telling my daughter today. I sent them all an email. And I said, so I'm like, I don't know why they would want to interview your ratchet mom.
Oh, my goodness. There's nothing ratchet about you. Oh, my goodness.
And my girls, and Maya tells me, the one in Brazil, she says.
She's a middle child.
She's a middle child. She goes, Mommy, they're not going to know you're ratchet. You're white. And I said, and I said, so who should I be? Should I be the realtor or should I be the girl from the projects? And the older one says, be the girl from the projects, Mom. Throw some F-bombs.
Millie, you are too much.
And I started laughing. I'm like, okay, I'll think about it.
Well, thanks for not dropping any F-bombs today. Oh my goodness, too much. Well, what about Mother's Day is coming up? Do you have plans with your family and with Carlos?
Well, the two girls are out of town, so it's only my son, and he'll probably be working. So, no, I usually ask Carlos to kind of barbecue for me the day before and invite a bunch of friends over, and then I can just sit down and he take care of me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I don't think the weather's going to hold up. So
it may be okay though. They were saying it may be kind of funny, but it might pass. So we'll see.
Besides, it's a big fight that night.
It is exactly right. That's true. That is true. I tell you, when you look at the way your life is unfolding, how does your faith play a role in that for you?
I'm in that. I don't know you very well. You sound like you're very spiritual, and I've never agreed with organized religion.
I haven't either.
Okay. So, okay, good.
So we're on the same page.
Okay, good.
That's a yes.
Okay, good.
Let me check. Yes, I agree.
So I believe in God and
We're so
higher
individual.
force. Yeah, and I think that what works for me and the way I praise Him is not something that I can call it either a Catholic, a Jehovah's Witness, or a Mormon.
Right.
And I don't want to identify it like that. And I find that, so my faith has been ours, and my kids will tell me, they're like, Mom, we never go to church. Right. And I'm like, I know, but
they're not missing much.
Yeah, I read them Bible stories when they were little,
Right.
They had a little cartoon book,
Color me Jesus.
Yeah. There's Noah's Ark.
Exactly.
But that was the extent of it.
Let me see. I think that was enough.
I think you got it.
Exactly. You got to think about organized religion. I think it really boxes humanity, saying that my religion's better than your religion.
Right.
It's like the worst juvenile thing I think man could have done to each other, because it's so divisive.
Right. And my God, that means I'm going to heaven and you're not.
Right.
And then, and there's 3 different heavens. You have to go to the celestial heaven or the heaven. I'm like, well, I don't want to go to that heaven. I might as well just stay down.
Right.
I want to have a drink, so I'm going to stay in this heaven, okay?
Right.
No, then they say, "Oh, but you're gonna have everlasting peace with your family." I'm like, I don't like them in this room.
Why don't
I want to be with them over there.
I concur.
I don't even like them here.
I don't want to have them in heaven.
I want to be with them over there. That's another hell. That'd be celestial hell.
Please. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, so that's like no organized.
No.
I'm with you. You know, I was telling someone the other day who she invited me to her church, and I said, you know what? Thanks for the invitation. She said, I want to pick you up, and we're gonna go. I said, no. I said, why don't I meet you after church? I said, well, how long is church? 2.5 hours. Ooh. So I said, no, I knew I didn't. I said, I know I'm out.
I'm short in the house.
I give Millie a call. I'm booked. Millie and I got to go and read Bible stories together.
But a cartoon book.
I will color me Jesus.
Exactly.
I'm telling you. Let me tell you, Millie, when she said, I said, well, how long is it? She says, oh, like 2.5 hours. I said, there's no way.
That's my whole day. I got laundry to do.
She said, well, just please. I said, no, I don't think. I said, because I know if I go, what's going to happen, I'm going to fall asleep. And I said, lately, I've been so tired, I might start snoring. So I said, I'm going to embarrass you. She said, well, I'll wake you up. I said, no, I just.
Don't you hate it when people can't take a no?
And for me, I got to tell you, my yes is yes, but my no is really no. I will not. If I say no, don't ask me 3 times. You know, I just, it's in and it's an O, no. You know? So, of course, I didn't go. And, of course, she called me later and said, oh, Levi, you missed a great service. The music was blah, blah, blah. I said, no, I took a nap. I'm fine. I'm okay.
I'm not going to regret that one.
No, I'm not going to regret it.
I
not
enjoyed my Sunday.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, I think it's really extraordinarily refreshing to talk to someone who's really clear about who they are, about what they want, about their life, about their family, about their husband. There's real, in speaking with you, there's real clarity about what relationships are. And to me, you really symbolize that relationships are about communication, authenticity, honesty, and some humor. It has to be a balance of all of that.
And a lot of respect, because I respect my husband to no ends.
That's fair. But he respects you also.
And so he does, exactly. So I don't play with him, like you're like if I would play with my brother
it's different.
in the projects.
That's
he doesn't
different.
We don't play that.
No,
He's
the
very
husband.
Exactly.
Right.
And I respect him very much.
Right.
So
I
never go over his head with my children. I'm like, Daddy doesn't like that too much. So and I have to give him a space.
Which is really great, though. But it's also, is what you said earlier, you get your space, too. You get your day a week where you just go in and do Millie Alvarez without any other person as a focus of intention.
Right. And so he says that I don't have to cook for him and that I don't cook for him, but I don't know how true that is.
Right. I bet you cook really well, though.
Well, I've had to, but I'll tell you a funny story about why I learned how to cook.
Yes.
I don't like cooking.
Really?
I don't like cooking. I don't like cooking.
Why not? Because it's so therapeutic.
Because I don't like the mess.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what was my dilemma was like, I don't want to have to clean up that kitchen.
Right.
So the one time he tells me, he goes, Millie, this is the way he catches me with that reverse psychology thing.
Right.
He says, your son eventually is going to get married.
It's true.
And he goes, and if you want him to come visit you, then he's going to have to want your food.
This is true.
And that kind of like lit the fire in me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's true.
Right, I need to learn.
I need to learn and to do it really well." So my son always wants to come home to eat dinner from his mother's food.
Does he really?
And yeah, so I mean that's why I learned how to cook, and so now I do it all the time, thinking that.
That's fantastic.
And then Carlos is just the afterthought. Right. It's like, oh, you can eat too.
You heard that, Carlos? You heard that?
Oh, you can eat too.
You can eat too. I had to tell you, Millie, it was just, we got to have you back on the show. It was just great having you on. Thank you. And just thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to share with us the real you, which is a great joy. I mean, you really are a modern day Wonder Woman. You're doing it all. I applaud you.
Thank you.
So, talking, of course, to wonderful Millie Alvarez, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, to my manager, Janet Rodriguez, and her daughter, to my mom and all the mothers out there. I think women and Mother's Day should really be high on your priority to really celebrate the women in your life. It's so very important. Well, this is Dr. Levi. I want to thank you for joining us. Please join me on Facebook. What about Millie? Do you have a Facebook or Instagram that we can give them?
Yes. On Facebook, it's Millie Alvarez. Is it Millie.Alvarez? What is it, Janet?
They'll find it.
Millie Alvarez.
It's Millie Alvarez. Okay.
They'll find you. Trust me. They'll find you. What about Instagram? Are you on Instagram?
It's M Alvarez XX, I think, because that's my email address.
So there you go. You got Millie. If you want someone to come and speak to you, if you want someone who's a great realtor and soon to be a realtor and broker, she's the person for you. What a wonderful show today with Millie Alvarez. She really epitomized the greatness of a phenomenal woman, a great mother, and of course, a great business person. So I want to say Happy Mother's Day to Millie Alvarez. I want to give her these.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Millie. You are so deserving of that and so much more.
Thank
I know it's
you.
going to be a phenomenal Mother's Day with you and Carlos and your son. And I just want to say from our show, Happy Mother's Day, and thanks for being such an integral part of our show. You're just amazing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. This is Dr. Levi with the great Millie Alvarez, a one of a kind. So thank you so much. Bye and Happy Mother's Day.